Thank you for joining us on part 2 of this series of Nutrition in Africa. And our discussion is with Polly Mwongera of Global Alliance for Food Nutrition. So Polly, picking up from where we have left, what are some of the challenges that you see that are affecting nutrition in Africa? Because I know nutrition that cannot stand on its own without factors around it that affect it. And this is issues to do with climate change, political instability, and of course, economic shocks that make solving nutrition unaffordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. So as you put it, there are these positive steps or actions that are being taken to alleviate the effects of malnutrition.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are challenges that are pulling us back or holding us from achieving those action plans, as you put it. One is climate change, whose effects now have been more adverse, especially in Africa.
Yeah.
So we are reliant on rain-fed agriculture, and you'll find due to the effects of climate change, weather patterns are changing. There's reduced rainfall in food-producing areas. All these prolonged periods of, let's say, drought. For example, you can look at a country like Zambia, which is more like a food basket.
Yeah.
And there's, I think it was last year but one where there was really prolonged periods of drought. So what this causes is that then there's reduced production, crop failure, and then food prices go up.
Yeah.
I remember what we were talking about in the first session about affordability. So if you are already a poor household or someone who was not able to afford a nutrition-rich diet, even when the prices were not at the market rate. So if the prices go up, then it alleviates even the effect of this person to afford a meal.
Yeah, true.
So then you have to miss some meals. Some poor households have to miss meals, so they have to choose a lesser, healthier a meal that they consume. So climate change is a key impact on nutrition. It cannot be looked at separately. That's why people talking about nowadays sustainable food systems. So even as you talk about producing fresh fruits and vegetables, how are you producing them to ensure that then there's a sustainable cycle, that you're able to afford the healthy diet every time, or you're able to deliver healthy food to the market sustainably. So combining production systems and the nutrition impact is really key. You don't just look at, are we producing more food, but are we producing more sustainably? Are we producing nutritious food more sustainably? 2, you mentioned about conflict and war-torn areas. That's very real as a challenge, because then people at war can't produce. People at war, even women, children, are affected health-wise. Sometimes results in affecting not just the economic life, but also the well-being of a person, and therefore they're not able to, even if they are getting some food, it doesn't really meet the needs that the body has at that point. Maybe they are injured, maybe it's someone who needs better care than what they were when they were healthy. So war, of course, leads to worse situation. And we've seen a number of this, even with the situation that is currently going on in several parts of the world. There are several areas that are right now affected, and maybe the nutritious food can't even get to them. There's reduced support, let's say, from the donor organizations. There's reduced support even from the local governments, because they can't access those regions. So it's an issue that really needs maybe global focus. What you'd say of the bodies like the UN or bodies that are able to have a higher influence on war-torn regions, because it really affects the less privileged. These are the ones at the risk of malnutrition, even with a stable environment. But now at a war-torn situation, they're not even able to access even the basic.
Okay. Yeah. You know, my next question was on resilience strategies that can be employed.
Yeah.
And so then you mentioned climate change, and I thought about, climate financing.
Yeah.
And thought how somehow in a way, the funds that are focused on climate change or focused on funding climate-centered ventures, then in a way are also solving the nutrition crisis.
Yeah.
But what then are other resilience strategies that you think can be employed to help alleviate some of the challenges that we are facing on solving malnutrition?
Yeah. So, as you rightly put it, Linda, one is financing. So there's financing that's targeted towards climate mitigation adaptation initiatives.
Yeah.
That's one, especially to alleviate the climate-related challenges.
Yeah.
So, supporting production systems and even food producing systems that then are more resilient or are more sustainable. Two, there's even looking at the foods that are being produced, if they are more suited to a certain type of environment. For example, you have the drought-resistant crops that can be adopted for certain regions. Things like millet, sorghum can be repurposed and used to produce millet-based products that are then more nutritious. In cases of war, this is something I think that requires more global focus. It's not something that you'd say a player like GAIN or any other organization would come in to do that. But then there are action that are taken to support in these regions, also support people who are at the risk of malnutrition due to war or due to conflict in the areas that they are operating in. But as we put it, I think especially when it comes to financing, there's dual or even trio purpose financing. You don't have just to achieve one aspect of the impact that you're targeting just to mitigate or to adapt. You can finance climate mitigation and adaptation still focusing on nutrition. So you're supporting someone to purchase solar powered irrigation system, but then they are producing a nutritious product, a fresh fruit and vegetable that gets to the market. You're supporting an entrepreneur to purchase solar powered cold trucks or cold rooms so that they can get a fresh produce food to the market, even in regions where people are not able to access. So purposed financing, as you said, but then also looking at things like crops that fit certain regions.
Okay. Now we talk about a sector of the population that I think, in my opinion, is the heart of solving malnutrition issues. That is women. And so why is it important? And maybe you can also speak from an angle of GAIN as an investor. Why is it important to put focus on adolescent girls and women in solving malnutrition among communities?
Good question, Linda. Because why women and girls? They are mostly the ones most affected, even when an household has undernourished issues. I was actually reading a story by Devex. I think it's a quote by Yvonne Chakachaka where she said, "Women eat least and last." Even in a household, you see a mom, for example, you have a chicken that is cooked and there are not enough pieces. Of course, she'll give mostly
sacrifice,
the
children.
If they are male people of the family, most of the times, especially in the African norms, they're the ones that will be served first. And therefore, if the woman is the one that will serving or a girl, she was the one making the meals, she'll be the one to eat last. And least in most instances, especially in a situation where the household is not able to afford enough even to meet for everyone. So they are more affected by challenges of malnutrition, but also something that is more prevalent in women and adolescent girls, especially, or women at the reproductive age, is micronutrient deficiency, as we were talking about, things like iron and zinc deficiencies. These affect them, especially at the reproductive age, where you're providing for both your child and the mother. So then there's need to have better focus on these. And why focus on them at that age? It's because this will become intergenerational. If a mother is weak, then she'll give birth to a child who is
weak
also. And therefore you have to keep supporting generation of people who have nutrition issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So helping to alleviate that challenge, it's just supporting them at the stage where they don't have to develop that condition. I don't have to go to maybe get a child or maybe get at the point where I'm having a child, but I'm already iron deficient.
Yeah.
So if there was support for this woman, maybe from teenage, from school even, the meals that they were eating, are they eating iron-rich beans at school? Were they consuming a vitamin A enhanced maize that enables their bodies to have that already built-in micronutrients? So you're not deficient of them to get to the point of now your body is being built up at the point of where you're maybe pregnant, and that's when they are trying to alleviate that situation. Yeah.
So then do you think we can have more support for women-led initiatives aimed at solving malnutrition challenges? Is GAIN doing it as an investor? And do you think also other players, maybe even the ones that are focused on agro-processing, are they focusing on more on women-led initiatives?
Yeah, thanks, Linda. I know, true, there are some players that are focused on women-led initiatives. Even at GAIN, even with the N3F fund, we have a priority for women-focused SME owners. And why women-led SMEs require even more support, given it's already challenging for a woman to start a business, especially in the African setup with the norms of asset ownership, access to finance and resources, and even other burden that is added on the woman on the other roles that you take up in a household. So it's really needed that you support the women-led SMEs. So you have a focus to support at least 30% of the fund to be women-led. And this is offering them, of course, financing and technical assistance. I know there are several other players in the market that are working with women founders, mainly to capacity build them and even to provide financing and access to resources that can then enable them access even commercial funding with collateral requirements and such, because that's why you find most women are struggling to do that. So there's need to offer more and better support for women, because you also find that women-led enterprises are the ones that are driving most of the community-based impact. For example, working with other women, working with youth, supporting their local communities. It's most of these women-led businesses that are creating the jobs in the local communities that they're working in. So there's a lot of win-wins to get when you're supporting women entrepreneurs.
Sure.
A lot is being done in the space, but I know still there's a gap to support more, especially those that are younger stages and they are not really in the acumen of knowing this is how I go through the stages. So incubation and acceleration support is still needed for those younger businesses.
Okay. Yeah. And we will not be doing justice to this conversation on nutrition, especially since it's focused on from a child, from birth to a full adult. And we pride ourselves of living in the youngest continent in the globe.
Yeah.
And so what is the position of young people or the position of youth as policymakers, as innovators, and as change makers, as leaders also?
True.
And if it's true by 2030, 1 in every 4 young people will be African, then that means that youth need to really take a position in solving nutrition issues in their continent. And so what is the position of young people currently? Are you seeing interest in solving such issues, or where is the focus of young entrepreneurs?
Yeah. Thank you. I think there is a lot of interest, I would say. I've previously worked with a youth and women focused program, and I saw really driven youth entrepreneurs, even in just the agri space. Maybe not purely focused on nutritious foods or agri foods, but youths can do a lot, as you say. There's a lot of work or a lot of space that the youth can play in. So one, as you say, is driving the narrative, even in the current Kenyan population where we say the Gen Z. There's a lot they can change in terms of what is a conversation that our people are having. For example, nutritious food. What are people consuming? That's a narrative that the youth can take, especially with the social media aspect, the internet spread, how many people have access to their phones, TikTok, and all these social media platforms. One, they're changing that narrative and really being food systems change makers. They can use their voice. You don't even have to start a business. You don't have to be a policymaker. It's just your voice. What are you talking about? Consumption of healthier diets. Two, there's now the enterprising side, starting of businesses, as we are talking about tech, innovation, even basic production of foods. Youths are quite innovative in terms of coming up with better ways of delivering our food to the market, better ways of even packaging a product, better ways of even putting a product in sizes that people can be able to access even at an affordable rate. So youths can begin enterprises that then support to get the nutritious food to the market. And three, there's then the change making that comes from creating, I would say, groups or what do I want to say? Change maker. It's like a group of our school of thought. A school of thought. We have working groups of youth. Again, what we do have right now, we have Youth for Food Systems. We have our own program focused on youth, where we work with youths to drive community change. Because youths are not living in Nairobi, youths are living within the community. So if you want a program that is focused on supporting women, you want a program that's focused on supporting this value chain, then you have youths that support these specific people. You can train them, you can give them enough capacity building then to be able to support other people to develop this value chain or to develop this type of product. So that's another avenue where we can engage more youth. And I think we are seeing even themes for events, as you say, forums. For example, something like the Africa Food Systems Forum. This year is focused on youth, the action by the youth. Because there's a lot that the youth are doing, but then if there isn't enough space to let them talk about this or let them showcase what this is being done, then there isn't enough change that is seen out there. And you'll find even initiatives like enterprises or big SME work that I was talking about, something like the Camino Ruiz business. This is a business that was started maybe by someone when they were at a youth stage. But then it has grown to an enterprise that can still reach many consumers with a nutritious food. So yeah, I think there's a lot of support that is required for the youth. And as we are saying, even for the women, youths also face challenges with access to resources. So if more support can be offered in resource access, financial capacity building, these are ways in which youth can help change the food systems.
So as we finished this up, I know you probably might have answered my last question, but what would you say to a young entrepreneur listening to these, these insights and interested in solving the nutrition issues or the nutrition crisis in Africa, and interested in being a part of the achievement of zero hunger? Maybe not by 2030, but by some future date that might be set by 2030. So what would you say to this young person? And especially because I know most young people will not focus on ventures that are not profit making. So as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as a business person, what advice would you give to this young man or woman somewhere?
Yeah, thank you for that. My advice to them, I think, would be nutrition is viable.
Yeah.
Focus on nutritious food or nutrition supporting initiatives is viable. So if you're looking at the financial gain or the financial return you get from this, even from minus the social return, this is a viable avenue. And why? It's because it's consumption based. And if you bring to a market a product that is one, nutritious, that is affordable even comparatively to other alternatives in the market, and that is accessible to a consumer, I don't see why that would fail to commercialize or really to get you a financial return.
Yeah.
So it's viable, and two, there's support available. There's an ecosystem of support available in the space.
Yeah.
You can benefit from capacity building. You can benefit from support financially. You can benefit from market linkages and network linkages. You can even benefit from creating a network of suppliers, other producers in the same space that can take your product as an input, that can get your product in the market. So there's an ecosystem of support within this space, not to feel like it's a space where you'll be doing just a social good with minus no return. So you can still run a sustainable, a commercially viable enterprise while still meeting the nutrition impact, or at least enabling someone to have a healthy diet in their meal, or to have a good meal on their table. So it's a space most would venture into, actually, and there's always something you can innovate around. There isn't a limit to how many opportunities that can be brought to the market, because as long as there's a need, and there's existing need right now to meet all these things that we're talking about at the start, the gaps that are existing, be it children snacking, be it school feeding, be it what a pregnant woman will be looking at, be it what myself, even me and you, Linda, are looking at in the market as an healthy snack, a healthy food. So there's a space for all these innovations to come into the market, and key is to actually just make them affordable and accessible to the local consumer, and there'll always be demand for this. So there's space for that, and there's support. There's a support system, including GAIN and several other partners that are working in this space to support entrepreneurs. We hope to get more support from other partners, be it local governments, be it financiers, be it enterprise support organizations. All this can help in a way to build the entrepreneurial space.
Wow. Thank you so much, Polly, for your insights and for engaging our listeners today. And thank you also so much for the work that you're doing with Global Alliance for Food and Nutrition. I hope our listeners have enjoyed this 2-part series on nutrition. I hope it was as insightful to you as it was to me. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this insightful, helpful, knowledge that other people should know too, please share across your platforms. Until next time, thank you for joining us. I'm Linda Kiraithe, and this is the African Checkbook.